Hello.
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 Let's go!
Hey, kids.
Hey, Dad.
War crimes will be prosecuted.
Let's head out of Liberty City. Burn it to the ground.
Does the word mean anything to you?
Yeah, I chose this profession, so therefore I earned beer.
You want to go to the matinee?
The feeling is definitely there.
You don't know my name!
It's a new morning in America.
This is the old dude, Howard J. Reynolds.
Step into my office.
Not going to be too many punks.
Don't you stop worrying about the punk?
You! That's my name.
Yeah, let's go to the punk rock show.
Introducing, for your listening pleasure,
Here it is. Here we go. Episode 66 of the High Fives podcast. Michael, episode 66.
Nathan, it sure is 66.
One letter short of the beast. One number short of the beast. Not a letter. 6 is not a letter.
We'll probably never get to 666.
No? You got an exit plan? You got an exit strategy?
Well, I'd be willing to do it, but you might get sick of me by then. You might need a mic break.
Not microphone.
No. Moke. A moke break. Sorry to clarify. It's like a smoke break.
I'm on a moco. I'm on a moco, so leave me alone.
Yep. That's what's going to happen.
That's what we should start calling them.
You're going to start ghosting me. I'm going to be like, hey, you want to do that podcast this week? And you'll be like, I'll get back to you, and then never hear from you again.
That's what ghosting is.
Yeah.
Episode 66. It's the top 5 second tries. You like that? Second tries? Sophomore records?
I went with Sophomore, but then I had to look up what Sophomore was because we don't have Sophomore here.
No.
Like I hear it in TV and movies, but I'm like, so I Googled what a sophomore was and it works.
Yeah, I Googled it too.
Look at us. We didn't Bing it.
No. That's above Bing.
Yeah.
What's a junior? Is that third year? Is that your first?
I assumed that was your first.
And then senior would be your final year. Okay. So I mean, really, but no one ever says your junior record. I think they only ever reference like albums with sophomore, and that's it.
Yeah, I think it's because it's a follow up, right? And the follow up's really tough. It's like
it's tough.
It's got there's a lot of high expectation there, right?
Yeah.
Because there's so many bands that fall into the trap of rewriting it.
Totally.
Like rewriting the first album, especially if it was a hit.
Or they try too hard to go the other way.
I was going to say, that's the other thing. You can go too hard the other way, and you can pull like a Pinkerton, which in retrospect, Pinkerton's awesome.
But it needed 20 years to be awesome.
Yeah, like I remember it coming out and people shitting on it.
Yeah, what is this? I was one of those people. I didn't get it.
I liked it, but I was probably trying to be cool too, part of it. So I just was like, I like this. It's different.
I think I would have liked it if it, well, no, I shouldn't say that. I think I would have liked it more. It would have had a better chance of me liking it had it not been Weezer. You know what I mean? Like had it been from another artist, because I think you develop those expectations and it was too far off the path.
Well, I think that's it. That's what the problem with the second release is there's those expectations are so high and it can go so many different ways. And then there's those bands that like come out with the second release and it's like completely better than anything they did before. Like the second was like heads above the first release.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting topic. Did you stick to our genre or did you venture onto the path? Because there's a lot, like when I started thinking about it, I'm like, there's a lot of really good sophomore albums, like from bands that we wouldn't normally talk about, like Metallica or like even to some extent, No Doubt or like Beastie Boys, things like that. Like, I don't know if
Nirvana.
Yeah, Nirvana. That's a good one too. Like, yeah, Nevermind's the second one, right?
Smashing Pumpkins.
Oh yeah. See, there's a lot. I remember looking and I was like, oh, Nate might pick Smashing Pumpkins because I know you're a big pumpkin head.
Don't ever call me that again. I did think about it because there are quite a few. and there were quite a few that came to mind too, but no, I know that you like us to stay on brand, and I know that you like us to stay on spear. You're very corporate that way. You're very like brand oriented.
Yeah. Well,
and so when I can, you know, and when I'm not in the interest of just like making you squirm, I like to stay on brand.
All right. Just checking.
So I stood on brand.
Excellent.
But those are some good call outs. Those are some great call outs.
Yeah. And I'm sure if like you thought about for a second in like classic rock and like just general, there's probably like amazing albums. Like I'm sure there's a ton of them. So anyway, what have you been listening to, Nate?
Well, that's a great transition, Mike. You're doing pretty good with the segues this year.
I told you
so far.
that was the deal. One episode ago, I talked about how I'd work on the segue.
I know. I have to see it to believe it. You know, I gotta see how you walk, not just how you talk, Mike.
Well, I cruise in on a Segway.
Yeah, I see it. It. You've got a strut to your walk right now.
Yeah.
It's classic. Something I've been listening to that we were just talking about, or a band that we were just talking about, is the new Weezer album, Okay Human.
I really like it. I didn't think I would at all.
I know, right? And as we know, I'm the Weezer apologist for the show.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm super stoked on this record. 14th studio album, which is pretty crazy to think that they've done 14 studio records up to now. And like, this is something completely different, which I think is awesome.
Yeah.
You know, it's a 38-piece orchestra that's on this record. They began making it in 2017. I don't know if you knew that, Mike.
I did not. I assumed this was like a full-on like pandemic. We got nothing else going on. And Rivers was like, let's try this.
I think that's why they finished it right now, but they started it in 2017, and then it got sidetracked because they were supposed to go on some big tour, and they felt like this wasn't the release to support that tour. Mm-hmm. So they started recording a different album, and then with the pandemic, they came back to this. But I don't know. I think it's really cool. There's like nods to Pet Sounds in here, you know, obviously with that orchestra that's like backing this band or fronting this band, whichever way you look at it. I think it's really cool that they've done something completely different after 14 albums. And I actually went out and bought, there was like some limited edition splatter vinyl. And I'm not typically one of those guys.
Got to get the splatter, hey?
Well, there's been like a couple records recently that I wished I would have gotten. And I figured this is going to be one of those. And I love it because like, it's kind of that time capsule of COVID too, right? Because I know what you're saying. Like, it feels like it's that kind of album because of the lyrics. So much of the lyrics are like pointing towards COVID and isolation and, you know, staying inside. And I'm sure like a lot of the lyrics were probably written in the last year, but I think that musical writing started a while ago. And surprisingly, it's actually getting good reviews, which I don't think Weezer's gotten in a long time.
Well, it's got a 2 thumbs up over here.
2 thumbs.
2.
And 2 thumbs.
That's
is 4 thumbs.
That's a 4. That's pretty big.
4. It is big. The next one on my list is Windowsill, Showboating.
Oh, great.
You listen to that one?
I did.
I like it. Yeah. It's, it's Ramones-esque, easy listening, solid melodies, pop punk, very screeching weasel sounding. I really dig it. It's a fun record. Good times had by all.
For sure.
The new horror section, My Bloody Valentine EP.
It's good. I saw it came out the other day, and I did like a super quick sample. I like those. I always like those guys. I feel like I don't listen to them enough, but I always like them. Like,
yeah, I like them too. And if you like that band and the releases they've put out before, you will like this EP. I feel like the production is really good, catchy songs. And I don't know if all of their albums are like this, but this EP specifically is based on the 1981 box office flop, My Bloody Valentine, turned cult favorite. Do you know if all their albums are like that focused?
I don't know. There's definitely an Omen one.
Okay.
And I believe they have a Twilight Zone. I can't remember what it's called right now, but the Twilight Zone where like the gremlins on the plane. I think it's okay. I think they have one album, like a split where the 2 songs are based on that.
I think a lot of times, like when you've got like a concept band, it doesn't like the most appealing thing is that concept, or is that like kitschy kind of, just that connection to whatever they're
for
singing
sure.
about. But this band, I think like they write really good songs and like really good melodies, and it surpasses just the kind of cheesy or kitschiness of the concept.
Yeah, they're not just gimmicky. They're like
Exactly.
Yeah.
Gimmicky. That was the word I was looking for. Nice pull, Mike. Nice pull. Real good pull. Hey. Good pull.
Thanks,
Good
sir.
pull. The last one is JT by Steve Earle. A little off brand.
That's all right.
I can go the whole show.
No, the what you're listening for is great for that.
Okay. And I don't know if you've listened to this or heard about this, but Justin Townes Earle died in August of 2020. Steve Earle's son. I was a bit of a Justin Townes Earle fan. Just like really, really great songwriter. And this is Steve Earle doing covers of his son's songs. So, knowing that and listening to the songs, it's a pretty heavy album.
Mm-hmm.
And he does a really nice job of all those songs. Really, really, really good album. And if you're interested in picking it up, I think the vinyls are on pre-order right now, but the digital's out. The money goes to his wife and daughter that he left behind.
Also a good cause.
Also a good cause. So there you go, Mike. You're all caught up.
I'm caught
That's
up on yours.
what I've been listening to. And you?
What have I been listening to?
Why don't you tell me?
Okay. The first is a compilation put out by Drunk Dial Records called Fakes. And that's artists covering fake bands from TV and movies, which I think is a neat idea.
Yeah, I actually recognized more songs than I thought I would on this.
I think it's a good idea, and all the proceeds are going to charity. I think they basically were like, put a call out to bands that they've dealt with, and just said, "Hey, if you record something at home, let's get it out. Let's put it out. Put it on Bandcamp and get it out to charity." The artwork's pretty cool, and there's some good ones on there. Like I really liked The Hound of Love covering Billy Pass the Third Grave from Billy Madison.
Yeah,
and the Thorazines.
Do you have any more gum? More gum, more gum, more gum.
And I don't know if Billy Madison is just like of a time for our era, but I still watch it all the time and I can't help but laugh. Like I know Adam Sandler is a goofball and it's like so cheesy, but I still laugh at Billy Madison. At least the first three of his movies I still laugh at.
I don't know if it would hold up for me. I feel like it wouldn't. But did you see that Happy Gilmore thing that was on the other day on Sports Illustrated? I think were the first to share it.
You know what? So many people sent it to me and I kept meaning to click it and I forgot.
And you never did.
I totally forgot till you just said no. And I'm like, no, when we're done, I'll have to look at it for sure. Because you guys even referenced it in our group chat, I think too, right? Somebody sent out the Shooter McGavin thing, right?
Back and forth between. So like Adam Sandler is the 25th anniversary of Happy Gilmore and he's out on the golf range and he's like, I'm going to give this a shot. I haven't done this in 25 years and does like the running, like golf swing and just crushes it and then calls out Shooter and then Shooter responds. And I don't know. It was kind of fun. I think like, again, like one of these pandemic things where like celebrities have a little bit more time on their hands to like engage in things like this.
Yeah, I love it. That's maybe one of the better things about this.
Yeah.
What else? Rest Easy, which is a band from Vancouver featuring members of Daggermouth, Shook Ones, and Swear Jar. So if you like that kind of stuff, they just put out an EP called Sick Day. I really like it. It's just like straight ahead punk rock stuff, but anthematic, melodic hardcore. I'm into it.
Cool.
I honestly didn't know that some of those bands were from Vancouver. So that's kind of a weird thing.
Your favorite city?
That's my favorite city. It's got a lot of good music and a lot of crumb.
A lot of crumb.
Just crumb.
I like that.
Yeah.
I'm going to start using that.
It's a lot of crumb.
I've started like calling out like on video games. Like we were playing Mario Kart the other day and like the computer just like was just being horrible. Instead of calling it like a motherfucker or something like that, I just said, "You're a coward. You are a straight up coward." And like, is there anything worse?
Well,
it's a cutting word.
Yoshi's pretty upset about you calling him a coward. It's all over the net.
But I don't think he cared, but like, you know what I mean? Like crumb is right up. Like that's,
crumb's a great one.
It's offensive.
It is.
You know, like it's cutting.
Christian Lee Huston. He did like, do you listen to Christian Lee Huston?
No.
It's like a folk singer, like alt. He put out an album called Beginners last year, which was really good. And he's just put out a covers EP, which he covered like 3 songs, one ABBA song, a Vanessa Carlton song, but I don't know who that is. I think she was a pop singer.
Is it Dancing Queen?
I think it is Dancing Queen.
Yeah. I mean, is there another ABBA song?
Don't get me started. I love ABBA.
I know you do.
And he covered Taylor Swift, and he does an awesome cover of Betty. So I know he has another version of it that has got a Blink and a Sum 41 cover, but I think those were like a record day thing, and it was like for a benefit, so he didn't release them again, so you can't find them. Like
just stripped down versions of them?
Yeah. It's pretty good stuff. And then last thing is I read a book about the Misfits called The Music Leaves Stains. So I went down a dark path of Misfits and all Misfit things related. So like checking out the bands that like guys that quit the Misfits or were fired from the Misfits were in, whatever Danzig's solo stuff was, even the like Christian power metal band that Doyle and his brother started after leaving the Misfits, which is hilarious and horrible.
What was it called?
Christ the Conqueror, but Christ with
wow.
a Kryst.
Wow.
So they went from Misfits to Christ the Conqueror, and then back to the Misfits. But yeah, I found out some cool stuff. Like some of the stuff on Plan 9 that I'd never heard before. One of the bands that has nothing to do with Danzig I'm on a hunt to find that record now. And I found out Danzig wrote a song with Roy Orbison, which is pretty cool.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Like when you said that, I'm like, there's no way that happened. Like, where do they even meet?
Through Rick Rubin.
Oh, all right then.
But
that seems like the guy that's putting people like that together.
Anyway, it was an interesting book. I mean, the book was a little bit fanboyish, so I don't know how much of it's accurate, but it was basically like a giant Wikipedia thing and got me down a dark path of Misfit stuff that I never knew about. So, and
who got the song? Like, so they wrote a song together. Really?
Yeah.
What's the song?
Oh shit! You put me on the spot, Nate. Oh, I can't remember it off the top.
All right. But all right. It wasn't one of the hits.
No, it was actually considered a hit of his, and then he passed away right after it. It's for a soundtrack, and I can't think of the name of the movie right now. But Danzig also has a song on there that I'd never heard before of his pre-Danzig. So it's like that takes place in between Sam Hain and Danzig forming. It's pretty crazy. I also watched a 3-hour interview with Danzig done by Thrasher magazine, which is ridiculous and amazing if you ever want to go down that dark hole.
I'll take a pass.
He's an interesting dude. He's horrible.
I'm sure.
He's horrible and awesome and a loser, but still compelling. I don't know. And at one point, his mom in the interview was like, "Are you guys done down there?" Meaning he was still living at home.
Amazing.
Well, he was just starting Danzig, I think.
Amazing.
Yeah. I also figured out they made no money, which is crazy.
Maybe that's the moment that he wrote Mother. Do you think?
Maybe.
That was it. It's based on that moment from that interview with Thrasher magazine.
Yeah. But that's what I've been listening to. So,
well, that's a lot, Mike.
And if anybody has a copy of the Victims single, which is put out on Plan 9 Records, let me know.
Anybody. Should we do the list now?
Yeah, I'm super stoked to hear what your list is. So
super stoked. It might be my best list yet, Mike.
Well, you said that, and then I was pretty nervous about my list, and then I was like, I hope I didn't get anything that he had.
I mean, I say this from time to time, but this has great potential for overlap.
Yeah. So
I think I only picked. Well, no, there's a couple obvious choices, but they didn't seem that obvious until after I chose them. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have some lower hanging fruit here too, because they're lower hanging fruit for a reason, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And I think we should clarify, it doesn't have to be like the best album by the band. I think the category is quite broad in the sense that, like, you know, this was just a standout album by the band. Their sophomore record was standout for some reason or another.
I would agree, Nate. Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah, no.
Because you could go with like pleasure. Best one, and that's a whole other thing.
Yeah. And I mean, who's to say?
Yeah.
Who's to say who's the best or what's the best?
I'm the best.
Okay. That was said with such conviction. Why don't I start us off, Mike? This is not low-hanging fruit. This might be even a surprise to you. I'm interested to see your reaction, so I'm going to watch as I deliver you my first choice. My first choice is an album that still actually stands up for me. It's from 1999, and the album is Stay Asleep by a New Jersey band called Bigwig.
Oh, I would not have thought of that. I like Bigwig.
Yeah?
Yeah, like I know you were a bigger fan of Bigwig. Like even when we were younger, you always seemed to gravitate to him pretty quick.
Pretty quick.
Yeah.
But I feel like this album was such a big step from Unmerry Melodies.
Oh, huge. Unmerry Melodies is kind of goofy, like in lower recording quality and like.
Yeah. It sounded like a lot of the demo tapes from like back in the day kind of a thing. I think the songs were good, but like, you know, they weren't as together as I think they were on Stay Asleep or are on Stay Asleep. I mean, Unmerry Melodies arguably has some of the best cover art ever. I mean, that's why they got sued. I don't know if they got sued, but they had
cease and desist.
a very strongly worded cease and desist order. Do you have that CD, the one before it got changed?
No, I don't. I know you you do.
I think I do. Yeah.
I think they actually gave us it when we put out that first comp and they were on there.
It's got to be worth money, right?
Probably not.
It's like a rookie card.
You sound
right?
like were you at the show when we saw them and the drummer was trying to sell us bootleg videos in his van and then he tried to sell me a used toothbrush?
I was at that show. Yeah.
I was like, a used toothbrush?
The craziest thing was you bought it.
Yeah, well.
But yeah, this record just like was a more kind of like together record. Better production, obviously. A couple of new band members, I think, too, on this record. I think this band is one of those bands that have been through a lot of different band members.
Like, is it just the singer and he just kind of rotates?
I think it's just him left. Yeah. But like super energetic band, like both live and like it came through on the record, I think, too. And like lots of diversity on this album too. Like it wasn't just like, you know, kind of a straight ahead front to back. It's musically and lyrically both like diverse. So the song I chose is the album starter, track 1. Still, it's got some tasty licks on it, Mike.
Tasty,
nice and thick, delicious even. Yeah. So that's number 1.
Nice. Okay, my number 1 is The Copyrights and the album Mutiny Pop.
Excellent choice.
So there's a handful of bands you could probably contribute the mutating of pop punk in the 2000s to something that's away from the classic Ramones core. And I would say like The Copyrights are up there with that, like making that newer sound popular, like still sticking in Ramones core pop punk, but like adding like oomph to it, less like poppy radio and more like something you'd hear now, like bands like Dear Landlord and like Banner Pilot and stuff. And I feel like Copyrights are at the forefront of that. And I might be wrong.
Like the crossover, like putting the van and the station wagon together.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Yeah.
The minivan. They're the minivan.
Just like that.
Anyway, Mutiny Pop, I think, it's pretty flawless front to back. Like I enjoy most Copyrights albums and they do have a lot of like 7 inches and a lot of like splits, probably more than most bands. And they're in a bunch of other bands that are part of the sound. But I just feel like they were like one of the bands that took it to a new level on this album. And I think the name Mutiny Pop I like the cover art and all that stuff. So anyway, I went with the song The Ceiling's the Limit because I like it. It's also
the limit.
It's also tasty.
How tasty is it, Mike?
Not as tasty as yours, but it's tasty.
All right. Still, Bigwig and
The Copyrights, The Ceiling's the Limit.
Why can't I explain my feelings? All things on my mind just really confused and dumb in my regret. Hope it's not too late yet. Miss you, yes it's true. Been 2 months and I'm the fool. Don't know what's keeping me from you. Well, it's hard to explain what I've done wrong. Knew I tried 1,000 miles away from you. It's bringing me down because you're not around. It's hard to find the time when I can. I'll make this place. It's bringing me down because you're not around. It's hard to find the time when I can. I'll make you mine. No, I'll make you mine. No, I'll make you mine. Well, it kills me to hear all good things coming to an end. No matter what, open arms and open ears, shoulder to cry on. All good things come to an end. No matter what, I'm still a friend.
All right, Mike, let's roll the dice. Let's spin the chamber. Let's see if we cross over on this one. Shall we?
Yeah.
Are you ready?
I'm super ready. Are you ready?
Mind Freak. This album came to us in 2007.
Okay.
It was their first release on the Fat Records record label. Mm-hmm. Their Fat Record debut, if you will, Michael.
Okay.
I believe they were just 17. I could be wrong, but they were young men. They hail from Ontario, Canada.
Oh.
Band is the Flatliners.
Nice. I almost picked this album.
But you didn't?
I didn't.
Because you knew I would, or just because it didn't quite go the distance for you?
It was a late cut. So I'm glad I cut it.
The Great Awake is the album. I think this is my favorite album by the Flatliners. They've got some great stuff, and I even love the new one, which I think maybe turns some people away. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's different for sure, but I really like it. But this one I think is the one. This is the one that stands apart.
Yeah, I see that. I think I like the first album, but I'm only going to say it because Angry Agency shoved them down my throat so much when we were dealing with them so much. And they were just like, these guys are the best. They're going to be so big. And that first album was like, just a little bit more like there was a little bit more ska element to it.
Yeah, but they definitely dropped the ska on this. I think they have one song that kind of has like that ska vibe to it left on this record.
So it took me a bit to get into it. Looking back, it's a better album, like infinitely better. But
right. I mean, that first album is a great first album for young kids. I mean, they would have been like 16 years old when that album was recorded. And then this one is a huge jump, I think. And only like a year, maybe 2 years later.
Yeah, it'd be around that. Yeah. I like the one. I think I might even like, is it Cavalcade? Cavalcade. Is that what it is?
Yeah, I think so.
I like that one maybe a little bit more. And I think after I liked that one, I went back and I was like, oh, this is a great album.
Yeah, it is a great album. And the song I chose is kind of, I don't know, to me, it's like their, I don't want to say like their radio hit or like their top 100, but like it's the song you go to see them in concert for, let's say. Mm-hmm. Eulogy's the song. It's one of those songs that like kicks you in the feels every single time, but it also has like this anthemic kind of like almost uplifting vibe to it. Mm-hmm. And it's like one of those songs that like everyone joins in, you know, like when you see them in a show. I think because it's just one of those super relatable songs that anybody can, you know, put their own story to of, you know, the love of somebody who's died. Mm-hmm. So that is choice 2.
Solid choice, Nathan.
Thank you, Michael.
So here's one of the ones that I think you might have an overlap with me. So I'm going to beat you to it so you better have an audible ready.
I don't. I have no audibles, and I'm going to be playing the exact same thing.
It's an album, and shocker.
Yeah,
it's
it's a shock.
It's not their best album, but it's an album that I love, and the band is Rancid.
I didn't pick Rancid, but nice choice, Mike.
The album is Let's Go.
Yes.
And like that album means a lot to me just because it's probably one of the albums that got me into liking punk. And I know we've discussed it before, but it's kind of like my leap from liking metal and rock and alternative and grunge to liking punk per se, more so. And like, I just still remember getting it as a gift. And like, despite the cheesy photo on the back, which we've discussed before, I just really like them a lot. Still can listen to it front to back. I get really jazzed when I hear it. So decided to go with that. And I'll admit, like I hadn't heard the self-titled before this, but going back, the self-titled is not even close to Let's Go, in my opinion. I don't know.
No.
Like I know Lars isn't even on Rancid, right? Like Let's Go is the first one with Lars, right?
Yeah.
I think that makes.
I think they were just a 3-piece on Rancid,
but
Rancid.
Yeah. The first Rancid, because I think they have another Rancid. It's just Rancid.
Yeah, later on.
Yeah, which is interesting.
Lazy. It's lazy.
Anyway, I went with the song Solidarity.
Nice.
Because it came on the shuffle the other day when I was driving. And
nice.
Just kind of reminded me about seeing them live and stuff like that. So
it's funny. I have no recollection of this, but like I recently had a conversation with some old friends, like from that time when that album would have like come out, or when we would have all like been interested in it, or would have caught our ears. And I was making fun of them. I was like, "Oh, look, it's the Rancid Boys," and I'm like, I have no recollection.
Justin tells me this all the time. He's like, Nate hated Rancid. He used to make fun of me for liking Rancid.
I think I just hadn't heard of them at all.
That's a total Nate move. So it's totally believable. You digging your heels into something that you just cuz?
Yeah, just because it was, I don't know. But I have no recollection of it whatsoever, which is odd.
That's okay. Justin, I remember once we were doing an interview for Corrupt, and Justin, it was basically just an interview with Justin, and he was just like, yeah, when Let's Go came out and I heard it on the radio, I was like, you heard it on the radio? Like I had no like inkling that this was even radio stuff in Calgary when I was a kid. So, well,
Salvation was like, I think that was the first song I heard, and like saw it on Much Music or whatever. Mm-hmm. And that was kind of that open door. And it was just that was that moment, I think, for me too. Mm-hmm. Where even though I was making fun of everybody for listening to it, when I finally
then you got a
Rancid
tattoo
right across my throat.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was like one of the first 3 or 4 CDs I think that I had bought. Like this this album holds a lot of space for me too. So I'm glad you chose it, Mike.
I'm also glad you did not.
Yeah.
All right.
Look at us. Way to go.
Yeah.
The Flatliners, Eulogy, and
Rancid, Solidarity.
This morning I'm staring thin out as the rolling ground comes to a halt. Our heart once close, out beating, but its memory lives forever, and our blurry eyes will make some sense of this. You will always be remembered, you will be celebrated. You will never be forgotten, these tears still haven't faded. I feel I'm awake today with this memory that was once misplaced, and I never thought I'd live to see this overpowering sadness. Our eyes wide receptive, our family without a fate, lives our hands around them. We're help give direction, and our mountain our twists keep on being every single mention. You will not be forgotten, and we will see. You will always be remembered, you will be celebrated. You will never be forgotten, these tears still haven't faded. You're not lost, you're watching over us. You're not lost, oh just listen to these words when it's screaming out. Oh God, it's gotten so loud now. You're not lost. You will always be remembered, you will be celebrated. You will never be forgotten, these tears still haven't faded. You will never be forgotten, you will never be forgotten. You will always be remembered, you will be celebrated. You will never be forgotten, you will never be forgotten. You will always be remembered, you will be celebrated. Can't go on. Said it was like tango. Now you're rising on. Solidarity, solidarity, set me free with a bullet and gun. Solidarity, solidarity, set me free with a bullet and gun. Didn't see it coming. Your fears went hunting. Now near me to stop you running. Set your pressures on. Now you can't go on. Well, you're like tango. So we're on. Solidarity, solidarity, set me free with a bullet and gun.
I know, now I'm a little nervous. I tried to beat you at
you
your own
should
game.
be nervous.
Tried to beat you at your own game, and
You won't. You
All right.
won't do it, Mike.
all right,
It's
all
not
right.
going to happen. I will beat you every time.
You're a pro.
I am.
Yeah.
I'm glad you finally see it after 66 of these, and not 66 hours, because it's like an hour and a half each time. So do that math, Mike.
Yeah.
Do that. That's 99. Potentially 99 hours.
I'm no mathematician.
No, that's one thing I know
And
about you.
I'm no podcaster. I'm no anything. I'm an amateur. At best, I'm bang bang Bart.
This is one of those, quote, obvious choices that wasn't obvious to me until after I picked it. When I picked it, I was like, oh, that's a great choice, Nate. I think I may have even patted myself on the back. And then I went, well, maybe it's a little obvious, but no more obvious than Rancid Let's Go. So let's get into it, Mike.
Yeah.
My number 3 choice.
I can't wait.
This is just ultimately like one of the classic punk rock albums. It's Through Being Cool, Saves the Day. 1999 it came out. And I don't know what else, like, what would you say? Top 10? Top 10 of all time punk rock albums? Is it in there?
Yeah, it'd be up there for me. I don't know about top 10 punk rock albums, but definitely of that era, it'd be up there for sure.
Right?
I was actually looking because I almost picked it and I didn't.
You didn't.
But I didn't pick it because I was like, man, I used Through Being Cool in this podcast a lot.
I searched it.
You haven't. I have used it a lot.
I searched it. I only came across it once.
Really?
Yeah. Maybe you've thought of using it, or maybe you just haven't populated the website very well.
Yeah,
the only one I saw was the song I wanted to pick. Tonic Rocks.
Rocks Tonic. Juice Magic.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's my favorite song on there.
Oh, it's so good.
Just like the lyrics are so brutally detailed in like such a,
but so corny,
but like it's still good. Like it still holds up.
Oh, I love that album. I listen to it all the time. I really like Saves the Day though. Even the stuff, they kind of have a Weezer thing going too, where they have like albums after and you're like, yeah, they're okay. They're never as good as their first 3.
Yeah.
And then I'll listen to them and I'm like, yeah, but there's still good songs in here. I just don't know if I'd necessarily go to those albums, but there's still good songs on there.
Daybreak was one of the later ones that is awesome front to back. Like it was one of those standouts that came later.
Mm-hmm.
And because I don't think they had a front to back after.
What's the one with the orange circle on it?
Oh, the grapefruit?
Is it a grapefruit?
Yeah, I can't remember.
I like that one. I like that one front to back.
Yeah.
But that was like maybe their last one that they did.
Yeah, last or second last.
Yeah.
Fairly recent.
Great band.
It's a flawless album, front to back.
Oh, for sure.
And I mean, I think this was kind of like the first album that I found to be like hugely personal and emotive and like super like, just like really immersive at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Like lyrically, it's super well written. And yeah, like I know what you mean with like a bit of the corniness of it all, but like there's something to be said about like just laying it all out there, right? In a way that's like, who cares what anybody says?
I'm the last person that would complain about that. I like half the music I listen to has like that. Like,
yes.
Like I love stuff like that. So I don't care. I think it's interesting, but I always like, we've discussed it before. It's kind of funny. I'm like, how do you as like a 5-year-old guy sing that song?
Yeah.
But still, whatever. I like it. Good pick.
It's just a good quality record, Mike. You really could have picked any song off this. But I went with Shoulder to the Wheel.
Also a great song.
Yeah.
All right, Nate. Well, I'm going to stick in that genre. And I believe friends of the band, I'm going to go with The Promise Ring.
Nice.
And the album Nothing Feels Good. So like this is the album I think of when I think of The Promise Ring. Like down to the artwork. It just like sums up that era of that time. Like I had never really heard their first album like until way later. Like I always thought that this was the first album. So you can take away my emo scene points, I guess.
Minus 10 emo scene points.
Yeah. But it's just like this like Through Being Cool, like the Get Up Kids albums, stuff. These are the ones I think of when I think of like that second wave of 90s emo. And
is your credit card linked to your emo scene points?
No, but my credit score is.
It is. Right.
I'm gonna have real problems getting a mortgage after this podcast comes out. Anyway, I just love this album so much. It's really hard to pick any song off there. So kind of like you were saying with Through Being Cool, this like it's just front to back a great album, and it's the same thing. It's like it holds so much nostalgia for me. So I went with Why Do We Ever Meet?
I don't think I fully got into Promise Ring. Maybe this is the album I need to check out. I think I just didn't check them out at the time, and then never really have come around to delve into them.
I think anything from this genre might be hard to go back to if you aren't a huge fan of that kind of stuff, or B, weren't into it within a certain part, because like bands built off these albums, right? And then like so it might sound not as good to some people.
Like they were more of a band's band, do you think?
Promise Ring?
Yeah.
No, I think they're like at the same level as like Saves the Day and Get Up Kids. Like they're just like heads above everyone else, and Jimmy Eat World and stuff like that. Like they were just in that whole sphere of things. But I just, if you missed on them, it's like hard to go back. It's like saying if you go to like the Fat Records catalog and you're like, you should really listen to, I don't know, like maybe even say No Use for a Name. Like, does Justified Black Eye hit the same way to you or Soulmate as it would to somebody else like 20 years later that never listened to it? They'd probably like, oh, yeah, it sounds like all those Fat Records bands. But at the time you were like, oh, that's really cool and really. So that could be the same thing with a lot of these bands. It's long-winded. No one really cares.
But how many scene points did you lose?
I just gained some.
You gained some. You got some back?
Yeah. You're not part of this
like that?
You're not part of this game? You don't feel that? It's like energy.
No, I'm not part of it. Where do I sign up?
It's in my, I don't know. You just got to know. It's part of the scene point.
That's how you get your first 5 is knowing where to acquire them.
If you don't know now, you're never going to know.
You don't know. You don't know.
Yeah.
All right. Saves the Day. Shoulder to the Wheel. And?
The Promise Ring. Why Did We Ever Meet?
Get us as far as fucking me. Get and between 1919 and 40, for the tea it will have changed me. Turning from the invading light on my naked room, my naked room. Our coffee stains and dusty coffin. You're always dressed and buttoned up. Ba-ba-ba-da-ba-ba-ba-da-ba-da. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. And you're always dressed and buttoned up. Ba-ba-ba-da-ba-ba-ba-da-ba-da. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. And you're always dressed and buttoned up. Ba-ba-ba-da-ba-ba-ba-da-ba-da. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. And you're always dressed and buttoned up. Ba-ba-ba-da-ba-ba-ba-da-ba-da. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. And
We've avoided each other so far, Michael. You've stayed in your lane. I've stayed in mine.
Yeah. You're not going to call me a crumb.
You thinking of doing a California lane change here?
I don't know what that is.
It's like when you cross like 4 or 5 lanes all at once.
Oh, yeah.
Because you gotta get across the freeway to your exit, and it's very important that you get there and you don't miss it.
All right.
I feel like when you miss an exit in California, like,
I think you're fucked.
you might as well take the next couple days off just to get back. It's kind of like on when you take. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, Mike. I'm gonna get on to the next one.
I just want to hear your pick. I don't care about your driving tips.
I'm gonna get on with it.
You've played
Mike.
way too much Mario Kart.
Do you think the character matters in Mario Kart? Do you think
100%?
It does it really?
Like I could only play with like Toad, I think, and one other one.
I hate Toad.
Yes, we've gone
so
through
much.
And like the turtle guy. Koopa Troopa. Yeah, I can't. If I try to use one of the faster ones, I'm falling off the Rainbow Road.
But what are you talking about? Are you talking about like the Switch, the one on Switch, or are you talking about
all? I'm
N64?
I'm going all the way back to SNES.
Wow,
all the way through the thing. I can't. There's so many of the characters I can't use. I really liked using Bowser as a kid, but only because I would just bully my way to the front.
Right. All
but
right.
He's not good enough in the newer one.
Number 4. That's enough. It's enough car talk, Mike.
We'll save that for our car podcast.
Which has even less listeners.
Yes.
It's hard to believe. Number 4, maybe this is on your list. I don't know. Let's find out. It also comes from 1999. I had a lot of 99 picks.
99.
So that was a banner year, Mike.
Was it? Is it because you were in Australia?
It's poking you a little.
I know.
Seeing what's going to happen. This is a band that began and died on Honest Don's records.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's weird to think about Honest Don's, isn't it?
Yeah, what was it? Honest Don was just a subsidiary of Fat?
Yeah, it was like Fat was getting too big and like they didn't want to, I think like there were some bands that just didn't fit on the Fat roster, but that they liked or that Mike liked, right? So he wanted to still put that music out. Because I mean, Fat was very specific at that time, right? Like all those bands had they were all connected.
This drum beat that went with all those bands.
Sure. This band This is their sophomore release called Guitarded. The band is Limp.
Nice.
What happened to this band? They just like went away one day and never came back.
Yeah, I feel like, and I asked this in the chat once, I feel like there was a pretty good album that came out of some of the guys from Limp, and I could never figure it out.
Really?
Like, yeah, it's just like I can't even think of where to look, and I feel like it was on Side One Dummy, but maybe not. And like,
They're too small to like really get a good Wikipedia page.
yeah, like there's nothing like, and I can't. And I feel like the guy from Sam I Am was in it too. Like,
Oh, really?
I don't know. And it would have been out before Ashtray. Like it was somewhere in between there. I don't even know if it ever made it out or if it was just like one of those things that was floating around in like punk message boards and stuff about a band that you should check out. But it's got like Angelic in it or Angels or something, but I can't remember anything about it. Oh well, maybe somebody knows. I doubt it.
Yeah, I doubt it. This is arguably like the standout of the 3 records that they put out.
Oh, for sure for me.
Yeah,
Like,
for me too. Like this is the only one I go back to, and I do go back to it because like they had very much their own sound, you know, especially for that time.
yeah, like I feel like they were doing something a little bit different than like the average punk rock band. Like the the guitar tones were kind of different, I think. Is that what it is? Like they almost had like a slacker sound to it.
It was that and the vocal tone too. Like he had a range, but it was almost like the vocals had this monotone quality to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that contributed to their sound too. But it's odd because Ryan Green recorded like all their stuff.
It doesn't sound like that.
Right.
But
Odd.
They probably would have done better now. Like if it came out now where people that listen to punk are a little bit more open to like exploring other things. At that time, I feel like people were like, oh, you're a fat band. I know what fat bands sound like. I know what Honest Dawn sounds like.
Yeah.
I know this. And they're like, they didn't venture out of that. They didn't venture off that path. Like fans too, right? Like if you heard that one weird band on the compilations, you're like, I don't want to listen to that band.
Right. Well, it was also a tough time to have the name Limp in 1999 because there was another band that had Limp in their name that was arguably a little bit bigger, a little bit more well known. I'm referencing Limp Bizkit, who I'm sure it's nothing but fun and sarcasm, but they actually thank in the liner notes of this album. It's like, no effects, no use for a name, Limp Bizkit.
Amazing. It's probably because they got a couple of hits on like, well, I guess the internet wasn't even that big of a thing then.
It wasn't.
But maybe somebody picked them up at a record store thinking it was Limp Bizkit.
Right?
Yeah.
Hey, this is Limp Bizkit before they were called Limp Bizkit.
It's like the best of the Beatles. I think that's still one of the funniest things ever.
The song I chose is Passed Out. I think I like this. This song stands out to me the most, I think, because it had like that walking, driving bass line that starts out the song. And like the guitars were like not really ska, but like almost kind of their nod to ska.
Yeah. Like I think the first time I heard them actually was on Ska Sucks, that compilation. Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Limp, Mike, Limp.
Not Limp Bizkit.
No. Limp Bizkit before they were Limp Bizkit.
Okay. So the next band is a band that I heard about on Twitter one time when someone tweeted, when this album comes out, everyone will be talking about the Hotel Year and their debut full length. It's the best emo revival album yet. And that was their album Never Goes Out, which is their first album. Now, it's a great album, but I would argue that when they changed their name to the Hotel Year, one word,
yeah,
and released Home Like No Place Is There, that really is one of the best emo revival albums there is.
It's a great choice. It was on my radar, Mike.
Ooh,
yeah,
close. So I thought it was like a huge, like I do like Never Goes Out, and it was really good when I heard it. But I just think this one's just so much tighter. I think they grew lyrically and musically on this album. So, and the song I went with was The Scope of All This Rebuilding.
It's a great poll, kid. Real good.
Thanks, boss.
Do you know why they changed their name? Was it Another band kind of situation?
I think there's another band called the Hotelier or something like that.
Right. That's unfortunate. Are they still going? Do you know anything? Do you have any more facts, Mike? Do you have any more facts that you can share?
I feel like they're one of those. It's weird. There's so many of these bands that they never officially break up. So you're just like, oh, they could be recording, or you like read on the internet, but like it's like a lot of dead space. So you assume that they're done.
Right.
But at any point they could come back.
It's dead air, Mike.
Yeah.
It's dead air. So you don't know.
So they're ghosting me just like I imagine you ghosting me in a little bit here.
So you don't know.
No, I don't know.
The short of it is you don't know.
Fine, Nathan.
Okay.
I'll admit I don't know.
Limp, passed out, and?
The Hotelier, the scope of all this rebuilding.
Don't play too hard with
I got 66 problems, but Mike is all of them. He's all of them. Yeah.
I am. Thank you for listening to us and reaching out to us. Thank you for anybody who's joined the chat, sent us a message, a note, or even liked one of our Instagram posts. And Nathan, I've checked it out. Our Instagram is at High Fives Podcast. That's it.
Look at you. You did it. You did it.
You can check us out online at highfives.ca. If you're listening on iTunes, leave us a rating or something. Because
no one ever does that.
No.
And it's hugely important.
Do you know why it's important?
Yeah.
I don't actually know why it's important. I was actually right here. I'm like, I wrote in my notes. Why? I don't know, but I think it's important.
I think it's like SEO on Google. Like
really?
if you don't engage Google in the way it likes to be engaged, then it's going to ignore you, which I think is like what iTunes does.
I'm positive it probably is something like that. I like to pretend that we just crave the ratings, like we're some sort of rating vampire.
We need the ratings, Mike.
Yeah, I can't survive without the ratings.
I'm a ratings junkie, not a vampire.
If you listen on Spotify, I don't think you need to rate anything. But if you listen on iTunes, please rate us.
What do you listen on, Mike?
A little bit of everything.
You just shuffle it up through all the streams?
Just depends if I'm at work or I'm on my phone.
Are you telling me you cross the streams, Mike?
Yeah. My work computer doesn't have iTunes.
Wow.
So I use Spotify at work.
They told us never cross the streams.
They didn't know what they were talking about. Egon was full of shit.
They didn't know?
Unless it was Ray that said it.
Mike, there's a documentary about it. It's called Ghostbusters.
Oh.
Yeah. It'll show you what happens when you cross the streams.
Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of Ray, I was watching this Canada. Sorry.
That's a great segue.
I was watching a bunch of the Canadian Heritage Moments videos the other day.
Excellent.
He's in one, Dan Aykroyd, which kind of makes sense that he's Canadian, but it was funny that he's in one. And there's one random one with Pierce Brosnan. Why is Pierce Brosnan in one?
He's clearly not Canadian.
He's not Canadian. It was an older one too, so it would have been at the height of his James Bond career.
Wow.
Or Miss Doubtfire or something. I don't know. It was a weird pull. Anyway,
sorry. I know that Mrs. Doubtfire was the height of his career.
Anyway, that's it. Let's get to the next pick.
The last pick, Mike.
Yes.
Not just the next one. It's the last one.
I won't sneak a third one, an extra song in this time.
Okay. Yeah, let's never do that again.
Yeah, sorry.
I threw off everything. The feng shui just was completely bled out of that episode.
It was so positive.
This one's pretty obvious, but as much as I wanted to steer clear of it, I couldn't, because it is like the quintessential second album. It is one of the greatest sophomore albums ever. And maybe it hasn't stood up for people, and that's fine. That's to be expected.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I think not only for the time, but it had a long lasting power, and not all of them can last till the end of time.
Can I take
some
a guess?
of them will bleed out. I know you know this.
No, I would like to guess.
Do you want to buy a vowel first?
It's Papa Roach, isn't it?
Mike, this is my last resort. Okay. Honestly.
Okay. I don't want to cut your life into pieces.
Don't.
Okay.
Suffocation, no breathing.
My real guess is Propaganda How to Clean.
No. It wouldn't be How to Clean Everything. It would be Less Talk More Rock.
Oh, Less Talk More Rock. That's what I meant.
But I did not pick that one. That one's a great choice as well. But I feel like you play a lot of Saves the Day, and I play a lot of Propaganda.
Yeah, I also play a lot of Propaganda because I was looking. I was like, ooh.
So maybe I went for the second most obvious. It's the Gaslight Anthem, Mike.
Oh, yes. That is a great album.
The album is a 59 sound.
Yeah. It's pretty flawless front to back.
It's one of the tops. It's one of the all-timers. I just never get sick of it. I can keep coming back to this, no problem. And I know we've talked about it before, and we were talking about bands just going away without officially breaking up. And I don't recall a time when the Gaslight Anthem officially broke up, but I think it was a while ago. And I read today that Brian Fallon said he's just said all he had to say with the Gaslight Anthem. And it's a body of work that is now concluded. Huh. He's proud of what they did, and now it's time to move on.
Interesting.
It's a Seinfeld move, man.
Did you, well, they didn't go out on top. Their last album was very good.
Seinfeld?
No. Seinfeld's last season's amazing.
But they walked away was the point I was trying to make. They walked away.
I was going to say Get Hurt's not really that good.
You know what? I feel like I need to go back. I need to listen to that one again. But we're not here to talk about Get Hurt, Mike. We're here to talk about the 59 sound.
The 59 sound's awesome.
It is awesome. And I couldn't deny it. And so I didn't. And I couldn't deny the title track either. I know the title track's like the most obvious choice on this album, but it is my favorite song.
That's awesome. Did you ever read they did like, I don't know what magazine it was in when they did like oral history of this album?
I did not.
It's pretty good. It's really interesting to read. So when on the anniversary of it, and when they did those, like I think they did 2 reunion shows for it, kind of, or like non-reunion. They did like an oral history of recording it and everything. It's pretty interesting. I'll try to find it and send it to you.
I bought the vinyl that came out. It was like, I think the 10-year anniversary or whatever. And it had like the kind of the demo tracks on it, which is, whatever.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's kind of neat to hear where it was before, a producer stepped in and said, hey, let's move this part here or that part there. But it also came with like an 80-page book that's like part of the record, like part of the packaging.
Oh, neat.
And it's all, from that time. I mean, this was a huge album for them, right? Like they exploded off of this album. And I don't think it's necessarily like a huge step up from Sink or Swim. I think Sink or Swim's an awesome album too. But I mean, it was definitely the album that was received by the public and was the springboard for this band.
Yeah. So if I recall, they talk a little bit about that. Like they were like, we were gaining hype on Sink or Swim and then the EP that came out in between.
Right.
And then this just like took them to whole new levels of like just everything was different after that.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, Nate, no crossovers.
I thought that might have been the one.
I had an Audible pick even just in case, but no crossover. So I'm going to play a band that we've played plenty of times before. One we've debated about many a time. Do you have a guess?
We've debated about them.
Yeah.
Debated because we don't feel the same way about them?
Not necessarily.
Debated in what vein, Mike?
It's just there's been discussions about this band plenty of times.
Argued or debated?
Debated.
Debated.
Yeah.
You said that very jolly-like.
Oh, I'm jolly.
Yeah, I see that.
I'm a jolly green giant.
I'm
neither green nor tall.
But almost the same.
Yes.
There's not enough information there.
Okay. Well, the band is Strung Out. The album is...
It's so... How did I not...
I know.
That was going to be my opening line for this whole podcast was, Mike, did you pick Strung Out?
I went with Suburban Teenage Wasteland Blues because I love the album. Whether it's their best album or not is
what do you think, Mike? Is it their best? What is it, Mike?
It's irrelevant. It doesn't matter.
Wow.
Everyone's got their own opinion, and it's been beaten to death in the WhatsApp chat. I don't know why this is such a hot topic in there, but it is. Anyway, it really is like it's a lot better than their first album.
Yep. Like leaps and bounds.
Yeah, like and I loved it as a kid. I still listen to it. Probably more for nostalgia reasons than anything, but it's still
a good record.
Yeah,
it still holds up for sure.
I love it, and figured we'd go out on it. So the song I chose was Solitaire. I don't think we've played that on here before.
No, you played Bring Out Your Dead for sure, and I think I played Firecracker.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know why those jump out at me like that, but they do. It's part of the hot button issue.
Yeah, well, we've discussed them so much, I don't even know what we've played or not played.
I honestly can't believe I couldn't guess that.
I had 2 audibles. And you didn't have any audibles?
No.
0.
I never bring an audible, Mike. If we cross over, so be it. That's the high stakes game we're playing here. 59 sound, Gaslight Anthem, and
Strung Out, Solitaire. Thanks for listening. Stay cool, stay safe, and be excellent to each other. We'll see you later.
Which song they're gonna play time. And I wonder, were you scared when the metal hit the glass? See, I was playing a show down the road when the spirit left your body. And they told me on the front lawn, I'm sorry I couldn't go, but I still know the song and the words and the name and the reasons. And I know cause we were kids and we used to hang. And I know cause we were kids and we used to hang. Did you hear the 59 sound coming through on Grandpa's radio? Did you hear the rattling chains in the hospital walls? Did you hear the old gospel choir when they came to carry you over? Did you hear your favorite song one last time? Young boys, young girls, young boys, young girls, young ain't supposed to die on a Saturday night. Ain't supposed to die on a Saturday night. Well, they ain't supposed to die on a Saturday night. Ain't supposed to die on a Saturday night. You hear the 59 sound coming through on Grandpa's radio. Did you hear the rattling chains in the hospital walls? Did you hear the old gospel choir when they came to carry you over? Did you hear your favorite song but one last time? Young boys, young girls, young boys, young girls. I hurt myself again today, feeling all numb, I could use a hand. I'll always find myself in this little bind. It's been a few weeks since you've been around, so here I sit, my hands strapped down, patiently wait on the secret games they used to play around. So here I sit, all tied up, all alone with all my thoughts. I did not mind if this was on. I think about what I said to you when you finally decided to come my way. I'm sitting around a pit up like a fool. And I don't know how I got this way. I don't know how much more I want to take. I know you'll shoot me down and bury me before I get too high. So here I sit all tied up, all alone with all my thoughts. When will I learn to walk away from the things I do that make me feel the way I feel when I'm with you? Now it's me, myself, and I, yeah. Slow it down. On the screen I seem to put myself through the ways I find to submit to you. Cat o' nine tails getting old. And I don't know how I got this way. I don't know how much more I wanna take. A million ways to tame myself and a million not to try. So here I sit all tied up, all alone with all my thoughts. When will I learn to walk away from the things I do to make me feel the way I feel when I'm with you? And now it's me, myself, and I. When you come around, do the things you do to me. Hate this game of solitaire.
Are you having fun?
I am. Are
Oh,
you?
good. I'm glad. It's the most fun I've ever had. What's on your phone? Is everything okay?
Yeah, it's just my brother and my cousin keep texting me stupid stuff.
Oh,
And it's
brother, cousin, stop it.
It's just lots of nude photos.
Yeah. Brother, cousin, nudies.
Yeah.
My favorite.